Hey guys, today I am curating my everyday makeup drawer for the month of November. First I'm going to give you a quick review on all of the products that I had in here in October, let you know which ones I want to keep in here for another month. I even have one declutter this time as well. But I love doing these videos because it's not only is it a great way for me to shop my stash and make sure that I'm using products that I've had for a while or products that I may have forgotten about, but it's also a great way for me to retest and re-review products that maybe I reviewed a long time ago and give you my updated thoughts. So it's a good way to just have an ongoing follow-up on all my products. But the first product I had in here in October was the AOA Studio Buildable Satin Foundation. I am so impressed with this foundation, and full disclaimer, I was sponsored by Shop Miss A a few months ago, but I no longer have any obligation to talk about their products or use their products. I really just am blown away by this foundation. It really does live up to the name. It has a satin finish, and it is buildable to about medium coverage, but I also think this wears so nicely throughout the day. There were quite a few days this month that I wore this, and by the end of the day, I fully expected my makeup to look a little worn in, but even by the end of the day, this foundation still looked really smooth and just my skin looked very nice and healthy, not oily, not really dry, just, yeah, really nice. I definitely should have gone a shade lighter. This is the shade Buff, I'm pretty sure. I think the sticker must have come off. The shade is just a little bit too deep and warm on me, but I just blend it down the neck and it's fine. That is the foundation. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in my collection. I actually don't think I'm gonna pick another foundation to go in here for this month because I just really want to focus on my Urban Decay Hydromaniac, which is in my Project Pan. This purple container right here is where I keep my Project Pan items, and I just want this to be my main focus this month. I've really been enjoying this foundation, especially with the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Primer. This has been my go-to base combo lately. The NYX Sweet Cheeks blush, I think this has been in here for the past 2 months, and I'm gonna leave it in for November as well. This is such a great fall blush color. It's the shade Nude Tude, and I feel like this is almost like a cinnamon spice color. It looks so gorgeous on the cheeks. I love this formula. This is one of the easiest to work with cream or liquid blush formulas I've ever used. That's gonna stay in for yet another month because I love it so much. This blush, I'm kind of hopping around here. I also have the Milk Makeup cream blush stick in the shade Quickie, and I really didn't use this as much as I wanted to in October. It's this it looks really deep, but it does sheer out quite a bit. It's this really pretty berry color. You can wear this on the lips or the cheeks, and because I don't feel like I got as many chances to use this as I wanted to in October, I'm gonna leave it in for November as well. I think this is such a beautiful color for this time of year. This is gonna stay in for another month. I'll put it over here. The Essence, the blush in the shade Befitting. Always love this blush. It just complements my skin tone so well. That's what it looks like, just this really pretty neutral mauve shade. And I love it, but I am gonna put this away because, I wanna pull something new in, and I definitely did use this a good fair number of times this month. Speaking of NYX, you know what? I feel like NYX might be one of my favorite drugstore brands. They have a lot of products in their line, but there are so many amazing products from NYX. The NYX Wonder Stick also being one of them. I have this in the shade Fair. It's a contour and highlight stick, and I am surprised to be saying this, but I actually used this cream highlighter more in October than any other month. The only thing that's annoying is that it's doing that thing where it leans over, which is such a pet peeve. I need to try and fix that somehow, but I kind of get cream highlighter again. I went a long time just not really loving cream highlighter, but lately I really appreciate just a nice, subtle highlight. And as long as I don't go over the area with too much powder, I still feel like this shows through. Isn't that gorgeous? I just put a really small amount and sheared it out, and it looks stunning. Some powder highlighters aren't crazy intense, but I just love the look this gives. I feel like it's a little bit different from what I've been doing for the past year, and I'm really into it. So that's the highlighter. I also love the contour side of this. I actually like this better than the Oma Beauty contour stick, minus the fact that it seems like these break really easily from the bottom. But this is a great contour shade, and it has just the right texture. It's creamy, so it glides on and you can blend it out really easily, but it feels like it dries down and actually stays in place better than a lot of other cream products. So really impressed with this. I am going to go ahead and put this away because I definitely got a lot of use out of it this month, and I do want to pick out some new things. So, oh yeah, I need to put this away also. And then also another one of my favorite, this might be my favorite concealer in my collection, the NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum. I'm just always blown away with this. A part of the reason why I love it so much is the shade is spot on. I need every concealer to be in this shade. I have the shade Light, and it matches my skin tone perfectly, which is really what I'm looking for. Even for the under eyes, I don't want something too brightening. I really just want it to blend in with the rest of my skin. And that is what this does. It's very hydrating, but not at all sticky. And it's not as prone to settling into fine lines as a lot more like emollient concealer formulas. Kind of a thin texture. And I just love it. I really can't get enough of this, but I am going to put it back and pick something else. Man, so many favorites in this drawer. The Fenty Sunstalker Bronzer in the Sun. This might be my favorite bronzer. I don't know. It's between this and the Charlotte Tilbury. It's just the perfect tone for fair skin. It's a warm color, but it's not orange at all. It never goes on patchy. It's always just the right amount of color that I want. It's not too much. I think I might actually be getting close to hitting pan on this because I can almost see there's like a little raised ring kind of around the middle there. So yeah, and I definitely have now worn away the imprint. There used to be like a Fenty logo in the middle, and it's gone. So anyway, very satisfying to me. Lots of lip products. Let's start with the kind of sad update. This is going to be my declutter, and I'm really sad to be saying that because I've been using this for the past like month or two, and I really love this lip oil formula. This is the Say Glossy Bounce lip oil in the shade Push. But I recently started having a reaction to this. I've started having an allergic reaction to a lot of my lip products, but it's so weird because the first few weeks I was using this, I had no reaction, then all of a sudden, just boom. So unfortunately, this is going to have to find a new home, but I really do love and recommend this formula if you're not allergic. It's not sticky, it's not stringy or gloopy, it's really just everything I want in a lip oil, and it has a really beautiful amount of color payoff. I really like this brown shade, especially for the fall. So sad to part with this because I was so happy. I was like, I've been looking for a nice brown lip oil for the longest time, finally found it, and now I can't use it anymore. So I'm so sad, but this has to go. And these are the other lipsticks. I am going to go ahead and put all of these back and pick some new things out. This one has been a recent rediscovered favorite, the e.l.f. Hydrating Core Lip Shine in Happy. This is the ideal My Lips But Better shade for a tinted lip balm. Like, look at that. I am really into tinted lip balms right now. Tinted lip balms and glosses, lip oils, that sort of thing. That's like really all I want to wear these days. I will occasionally wear lipstick for a look, like if it goes with a look I'm doing, but on a day-to-day basis, I'm not applying and reapplying lipstick throughout the day. I mean, this is also just where the trends have been headed anyway, so it makes sense. But I've been using this so much, I am going to put it back and pick out something else, but I highly recommend this product. Also, we have the Estate Lip Thirst in the shade Pina. I think I actually wore this once with my Anastasia Norvina palette. I pulled that one out and used it this month, and that's about all I have to say about it. I don't know, it's just a lipstick and I like the color. We also have the e.l.f. Seriously Satin lipstick in Nectar. I did manage to finally use this a couple times in October. I like to think of this as like a pumpkin spice shade. It's so pretty, but it's great for fair skin because it doesn't go too deep or brown. This I didn't get around to using. This is the Urban Decay Vice lipstick in Olvera. This is a really pretty vampy like red-orange shade. Like I said, I just haven't been going for lipstick that much these days, so I'm sure I'll use this at some point, but I am going to go ahead and put that away. Really pretty shade though. Then these are my three lip liners. Actually, this one stays in here all the time. The Kokie lip liner in Nude, my favorite. My go-to nude pencil. Another one I have in here from Kokie, this I picked out, I guess, to go with the Urban Decay lipstick. This is the Kokie lip pencil in True Red. I always recommend this Kokie formula. It's actually one of those that locks into place and it's waterproof. So these lip liners are the longest wearing ones that I've ever found. And I did actually use this once with a different red lipstick this month, a more classic red lip color from Base Blue Cosmetics that I have. I'll put a picture on the screen. So I actually did use this, proud of myself. And I also used this. This is a really great affordable lip pencil, the Wet n Wild lip liner in the shade Brandy Wine. I will say though, I think for the first time I tried filling in my lips with this instead of just lining them. I tried to fill them in completely and it kind of got weird and patchy. So it is definitely a kind of stiff formula, which I don't mind for a lip pencil, but this didn't work well when I used it to fill in my lips completely. It clung to dry patches and looked really patchy. So just an FYI on this, it's like a $1 lip pencil, but whenever I just use it to outline my lips, I have no problem. All right, just a couple of eyeshadows here. We have the Hard Candy metallic eyeshadow in this purple shade. It doesn't have a shade name on it, but I think the only time I used this was in my get ready with me portion of my last everyday makeup drawer video, and I really love the shade of this. It's so pretty. This is by far my favorite of the handful of these that I've tried. It's just, the other shades I feel like were not that special, but this one has such a beautiful sheen and like almost shift to it. It's almost like a duochrome. Really pretty color. Not my favorite formula. It's a little hard to blend. It can get a little patchy, so you have to be careful. But you know, for just an inner corner pop or a little topper, it's really pretty, gives a really pretty effect, and it's a pretty affordable product. Also, I just think this packaging is so adorable. I love how compact it is, and it's just kind of fun to hold. This I love, the e.l.f. No Budge eyeshadow stick in Copper Chic. I actually tried this with one of my favorite toppers, ColourPop Ritz. Loved the combo. It was a really nice, easy, very fast eyeshadow look. But this is such a beautiful, shimmery brown shade. I love it because even though it does give me kind of a smoky look, it's not too dark or harsh on my eyes. Yeah, I used to really shy away from putting a brown like this all over my lid. I felt like it just looked too heavy on me, but this one, I think it's a combination of the fact that it's not that deep, and it also has this really pretty sheen to it that adds a little brightness to my eyes, and it's just a great one and done shadow. But I have noticed, okay, I don't know if lately my eyelids have just gotten more oily. Usually I'm able to get away with no eyeshadow primer underneath this, but lately I do feel like I need to at least like set my lids with powder before I apply this to keep it from creasing if I'm having like a long day, or if I'm going to be outside a lot, or it's humid, that kind of thing. Just want to let you know, if you have oily lids, you may want to put a primer or powder or something underneath this. But yeah, everything else in here is just stuff that stays in here all the time. So these are the two things that I'm keeping in for another month. Also in these videos, I really like to include a roundup of all the palettes that I used throughout the month. So these are all the palettes that I used in October, and I rank them from the most uses to least uses. This month I used every palette only one time except this one. This is the Nomad Ghost Town USA palette. I recorded 5 times. I feel like I may have missed a day or two, but I used it at least 5 times in October. I filmed a week of tutorials with this palette for my patrons and channel members. I have absolutely fallen in love with this palette. I would say this is one of my favorite palettes of the year so far, of the new palette launches that I've gotten to try this year. I think this is my favorite. I love this color story. It's so much fun, very different from anything else I have. There's a lot of cool tones in here, but I do love those warm greens and this copper shade. Those are actually some of my favorite shades in the palette, and I love these matte greens. I like that even though these are earthy green colors, they're not super olivey. I feel like, you know, there's a lot of olive green out there, but I really like that these are more almost like sage green. Cannot get enough of this palette. I'm really happy to see all those dips in there now too. Oh wait, no, I lied. There was one palette that I used twice. Everything else I used once. The one I used twice was the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. I did purchase this earlier this month. One of the times I used it, I just dipped into some of the mattes, and that was in the video where I was testing products that you guys made me buy. But I am going to be doing a 7 looks 1 palette with this, and that video, by the way, will be available to everyone. But since I've only used it twice, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it yet, and I definitely want to save any thoughts I have for that video. We'll definitely be using that a lot more in November. I also used each of these flower palettes once because I was doing that 1 week with the Ghost Town palette. I just didn't get to use these new palettes as much, but the time that I used both of these was also the video where I tested products that subscribers recommended to me. And let me just say, based on that experience, and now that I have these in person, I am really happy that I bought these. But the finish of these is a bit more satin than the Garden Lights and also the original Jungle and Desert Lights palettes. These have a little bit less of a foiled quality to them, with the exception of this one. This one's very foiled, this taupe shade, but the other shades more just have like a satin pearly sheen, but they're really pretty colors. And I like these really almost pastel pops of color in here. I think this is really fun. I think I'll definitely be into this in like the springtime, summertime. And then the Garden Lights palette, you can see this one's more like the first 2 palettes in this line because you can see the shades are very foiled in here. But the texture and the feel of these shadows to me feel identical to the original Desert and Jungle Lights in terms of quality. They definitely seem like the same exact formula, so excited to keep using these because this is one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas of all time. I also used the Estate Mystic Forest palette once in October. This is one of my favorite fall palettes. I just love these earth tones. I love that you have some really warm shades, but then some greens, This bronze shade right here is so pretty. You can tell that's my favorite shade in here. But this palette I used in my video where I was reading your ghost stories on Halloween. I also used my ABH Norvina palette. This is one of my favorite palettes. It's really, really old. I'll pop the look that I did on the screen. I'm pretty sure the two shimmers I used were the shades Dazzling and Summer. I'm sad I only used this palette once, the Nomad Verona palette. I did use this actually in my last everyday makeup drawer video, and I used this dark side. So the palette is Love and Death. This side is Love, this side is Death. I love this color combination over here. It's really pushed me to do some looks that I don't think I ever would have thought to do if it weren't for this palette. I love the combination of these dusty purples slash like that maroon shade, the navy, and the gray tones. I just feel like that's not a color combination that you see very often, but I love the pairing of navy and purple. I did also use the Sigma and Angela Bright palette this month. I finally got around to using the shade Autumn, and it was such a beautiful shade for the fall. I put that all over the lid and blended it out with the shade Peachy, and I loved that combination of this like bronzy brown and peach. Also used Sigma Ambiance. I'm sorry to say, I don't remember what I did with this palette. I may have only dipped into 1 or 2 shades the time I used it, so maybe that's why I don't remember. Whatever it wasn't that memorable of a look, but I do love this palette. I've been using it a lot, like the past few months especially. I just love the warm browns in here. This is like the one-stop shop for a neutral brown look, and that's what I love about it. This is actually the only October palette I used that wasn't part of my fall palette basket. This is the Urban Decay Stoned Vibes palette. This is one of my favorite discontinued palettes. I wish this had been permanent, but I did notice when I was using this that the shimmers definitely feel like they've dried out a little bit because this is a very like creamy type of shimmer, but I've had this palette for 3 years now. I think this came out in 2020. So, you know, I'm not surprised that they've dried out a little bit, but I am still gonna keep it because they totally work just fine. They're just not quite what they used to be. Alright, so like I said, I am not going to pick out a second foundation. I'm just going to have my Urban Decay Hydromaniac foundation be my default foundation for the month. So as for concealer, these are my 4 concealers, and pretty sure the one that I haven't had in my everyday makeup drawer in the longest is this one from Urban Decay. So this will be my concealer for the month. It's the Urban Decay Stay Naked in the shade 20 CP. I love, honestly, these two. These two right here are my top favorite concealers in my collection, so really looking forward to using that this month. Alright, so moving on over to the cream cheek section. This is getting kind of messy. I'm not going to pick another cream blush because I already have 2 in the drawer, the Milk and the NYX, but I do want to grab my Oma Beauty contour and highlight stick. Kind of similar to the NYX, I mean, same concept. This one has a cream highlight, which I haven't used a ton because, like I said, up until really just the past like month or so, I hardly ever wore cream highlighter, but now that I'm kind of into cream highlighters, I would love to give this some use this month. So that's what that highlighter looks like. It's a really pretty, kind of rosy shade. And the contour, I've loved this for a long time. I'm actually almost done with it. I would really like to finish this. I also want to pull in a powder bronzer. I'm going to go with my other favorite, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer in Fair. Yeah, love this one. It's a nice light bronzer shade, which is great because this time of year, I'm not super into like a very warm bronzy look. I prefer something a bit more subtle, and this is perfect for that. All right, I also want to pick a powder blush. I feel like one I haven't had in my drawer in a while is this one, an old favorite. This is the Koki Soft Gradient Blush in Bellissima. And I think this shade, actually, if I ever want to top the NYX Sweet Cheeks blush with a powder, this will go well with it. It's a similar type of shade. So that's gonna be my powder blush. Really excited to use this again because it's been a while. I think I just want to have this Oma highlight be the only highlighter in here because I am also working on the Aether Beauty highlighter in my Project Pan. So that'll be my powder option, and then this will be my cream option. I think I'll be all set in that department. All right, so these are my setting sprays. I want to pick just one to be my focus in November that I'll keep on top of my vanity. I think I'm actually going to do this one. This is the Revolution Infinite Mattifying Setting Spray. This definitely does mattify a little bit and helps to lock my makeup into place. And I'm thinking I want to try using this as my setting product instead of powder because I'm really curious about that. I know people do that. I've never tried it, but I'm thinking this might work well, especially over my glowy foundation base to kind of balance out the glow a little bit. Because I do really enjoy like a bit more of a satin matte finish this time of year. So let's have this be my focus setting spray for the month. All right, next up we have my lip drawer. I really love berry lips this time of year, so this is one that I've been wanting to grab. This is the Charlotte Tilbury little mini lipstick in the shade Amazing Amal. Really beautiful cranberry color. I like it because it's, I mean, I wouldn't describe it as a nude by any means, but just a little bit lighter, a little bit more wearable than some of my like really bold red lip products. So I think this is going to be the only lipstick I pick because, like I said, really haven't been wearing much lipstick lately. So that'll be the one. I don't really have any berry liners, but like something kind of dusty rose would be nice. Actually, let's do this one. This is the Jones Road lip pencil in the shade Mauve. I feel like this will be a good, like it's definitely much lighter than the Charlotte Tilbury one. Well, actually, let me see. Would this one be better? This is Dusty Rose from Koki. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jones Road lip pencil in Mauve. I really do enjoy pairing a more nude lip liner with a bold color like this because it allows me to just softly outline my lips. I don't necessarily need my lip liner to perfectly match my lipstick in this case, and it also, in a way, just like nudifies the that's not a word. It nudifies the bold lipstick a little bit. And the rest, I'm just gonna pick from my like gloss and tinted balm section now because this is really what I've been reaching for the most. And as far as berry and cranberry colors go, definitely want to pull in my CoverGirl Clean Fresh Yummy Gloss in the shade You're Just Jelly. Definitely a sheer berry shade. And I do enjoy this. Really my favorite thing about it is the scent. It does smell so good. But other than that, it's kind of just a gloss. I don't really get the hype on this because it can get a little stringy and like just, I don't know, just not my favorite gloss formula, but I do still enjoy wearing it. So this will be one of them. This is also kind of a lip gloss. It's the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip. It's basically like a solid lip gloss stick. I really enjoy this product. This is the shade Hibiscus. That'll be a nice comfy lip gloss option. Alright, so for my everyday makeup drawer, I don't put palettes in there because I have a seasonal palette basket. So I'm not going to pick any palettes or anything like that, but I do like to pick at least a couple of like cream shadows to go in my drawer. So let's do this one because this one gets neglected a lot. This is the J-Cat Rockin' the Night Sparkling Powder in the shade Chameleon Effect. So this is very interesting. It's a loose powder that comes in this like tiny bottle. So the key to this, I typically will only use this wet. So I'll just spray my brush with setting spray and then literally dip it in here and apply it that way. And it looks, this swatch is completely, like, it's not doing it justice. It's a really, really pretty like brown and green duochrome shadow that looks gorgeous just all over the lid as a one shadow look. So I want to wear this at least once this month because this is one of those products that like kind of have to remind myself to use it. And you know what I think that would look really pretty on top of is this shadow stick. This is another one of the e.l.f. No Budge shadow sticks. This one is in the shade Magnetic Pull. But I don't think I've ever tried that loose shadow over this. But yeah, this is like a gray taupe shade. I feel like that would make a really pretty cream base underneath that loose powder. So I'll definitely try that. So for my base, I'm going to use my two Project Pan items, the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Primer. I like to let that sit for a few minutes before I apply my foundation, so I'm going to go ahead and start with some eyeshadow. I am going to sort of prime my lids with just a little bit of the LYS setting powder because I want to use the e.l.f. No Budge shadow stick, and I think just applying a little bit of powder helps soak up the oils on my lid a little bit, and it keeps this in place a little bit better. So now I'm going to apply some of the e.l.f. No Budge shadow stick in Magnetic Pull. I haven't used this in a while now. Today is the first day that the sun is setting really early because we just turned the clocks back last night. It's 4:44 p.m. I see 444 so often, it's insane. And the sun has already set. So let me know how you're handling daylight savings. Okay, so I want to top that with the J-Cat Rockin' the Night Sparkling Powder eyeshadow in Chameleon Effect. Like I said, I like to use this wet, so I'm going to take, this is actually a flat concealer brush, but it's very flat. I'm going to spray it with a little bit of this Makeup Revolution Infinite Setting Spray, just because that's the one I have here. And I'm just directly dipping into that with my wet brush. And now I'm just going to paint that on. See, I told you that swatch just did not do this any justice. Look at that. That is so pretty. I feel like the e.l.f. shadow stick underneath is making it pop even more. This is the same brush I used to blend out the e.l.f. shadow stick. It's the Eco Tools Defined Crease Brush. I love this brush especially for blending out shadow sticks specifically, but I'm also going to use it to blend that powder shadow. So I think now that primer's had enough time to sink in, so now I'm going to go in with the Urban Decay Stay Naked Hydromaniac Tinted Glow Hydrator. And you know what? For fun today, since this is a product that also lives in my everyday makeup drawer, I'm going to mix in some of the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I have the shade Fair 1 in this. I'm actually just mixing those together on the back of my hand today. Okay, I kind of feel like that base combo maybe is actually a little bit too glowy, because the Hydromaniac is already very glowy, and I think adding the e.l.f. Halo Glow, I think it's a little much, but that's okay. My concealer here, the Urban Decay Stay Naked, I love this concealer. This is also a spot-on shade match for me. This is, I have in the shade 20 CP. I'm gonna let that sit for a second because sometimes that can help your concealer have more coverage, and I'm gonna go ahead and contour with the Oma contour stick. Yeah, I had a cold that started on Thursday, and then Friday was the worst of it. Yesterday was Saturday. I mostly just like relaxed. I felt better, but not 100% still. Today I'm definitely feeling 100% better, but I just have this lingering cough. But it's so annoying. It makes it really hard to like talk for extended periods of time. I think with this eye look, these two blushes are going to make a really pretty combo. So I'm going to use the NYX Sweet Cheeks blush in Nude Tude and then top it with some of that Kokie blush. And then this cream highlighter, I'm just going to apply this with my finger. Ooh, yeah, I love that dewy, wet look that gives my skin. Yeah, I guess I'm back in a cream highlighter phase. I actually want to try using setting spray in place of setting powder on my face. I am still going to powder my under eyes because, well, you know what? No, I'm going to try. I was going to say I'm afraid my concealer will crease, but I just want to see what this does. And then if I need powder on the under eyes, I'll add it. But this isn't a terribly crease-prone concealer, so I think we should be okay. I just want to try this out. So it does look glowy now because it's still wet, but once this dries down, it should have a bit of a mattifying effect. I've only ever used it over powder though. Alright, I filled in my brows with the ABH Dipbrow Pomade. Actually decided I think I just want to stick to only cream products today since I set with the setting spray. I just want to leave everything cream. So I'm not going to use the Kokie blush. I'm just going to leave that NYX Sweet Cheeks as my only blush because I'm honestly really liking the way that color looks as is, especially with this eye look. I was recently looking at my fall palette basket and my spreadsheet where I keep track of my palette usage, and I wanted to make sure that any palettes from my fall basket that I haven't yet used this season, I want to make sure that I use it in the first half of November because I am going to be switching over to my holiday makeup basket, which I'll film soon. So I'm going to use the ATHR Citrine quad. I just want to add a little bit more to this look. And this is one palette that I haven't used yet this fall, but one of my favorites. This brand unfortunately is no longer around, or I think they're like, you can probably only find their products at like TJ Maxx, but I did see someone got this palette at TJ Maxx for like $3. So just FYI, if you want to keep an eye out at TJ's. But this is one of my all-time favorite products from them. I just love, it's kind of like a condensed version of Sigma Ambiance. Actually, all four of these colors have a very similar color match in the Sigma Ambiance palettes. I want to take some of this taupe shade here on my finger. I'm just going to tap that in the outer corner just to add a little bit of depth out there. Oh yeah, I wanted to let you guys know I am going to be doing Vlogmas this year. This year I decided I want to do an early Vlogmas, so it's actually going to be in November. I'm starting it on November 20th and ending it leading all the way up to my birthday, which is December 1st. So it's 12 days, and I'm doing that for a few reasons. One of them being that I've heard a lot of people say they get overwhelmed with just how many people are uploading daily in December. That's like just too much content all at once. Also, I just kind of want to not do daily uploads in December. I want to kind of chill and relax this holiday season because for the past 3 years I've just had a really busy December. But if you have any video requests for Vlogmas, head over to my community tab here on YouTube. If you go to my channel page and then you'll see the community tab, click that. And then my most recent post on there is asking for Vlogmas requests. I also plan to upload quite a bit in December, like probably more than usual. You know, it's a fun time of year. There's so many like end of the year wrap up videos that I want to do also that'll come in December, so I probably will have to upload more than usual in December just to get all those out. I'm just doing a quick liquid liner with the Annabelle eye ink in brown. I have to say, so far that setting spray seems to be working really well at setting my makeup, and my under eye fine lines, not getting a ton of creasing. There's a little bit, but there was already a little bit even before I set. Yeah, I do feel like that setting spray is doing something. I don't know if I set, but I also use this light shimmer shade in the ATHR Citrine quad as an inner corner highlight. And then I'm actually just gonna take that e.l.f. magnetic pull shadow stick on my lower lash line. That's gonna be my lower liner. This isn't in my everyday makeup drawer. This is actually in my testing drawer, but this is the Essence Extreme Lasting Eye Pencil in Silky Nude. And I'm going to go in my waterline with that. Then for mascara, I'm just using the Milk Kush mascara. Probably gonna retire this mascara soon. For my lips, I'm gonna go in with my tried and true Kokie lip liner in Nude. This is my favorite nude brown liner. I'm gonna go over that with the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip in Hibiscus. Okay, and that's the look. The base definitely stayed very glowy even after the setting spray set down. I think just because these two products together are so luminous that a setting spray is not going to cover that up necessarily. But my face does feel set. Like I don't feel like I need setting powder. It feels locked in. So that's definitely a technique I'm going to do more often because I really like how this looks. So glad I pulled out this J-Cat eyeshadow. I really love this earthy eye look, and I think that like rosy brown lip pairs really well with it. So really happy with how this came out, and I am also really excited to use these products all month long. But like I said, leave your Vlogmas requests over on my community tab post. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really does help my channel, and subscribe if you are new. And if you're interested in supporting my channel further, I do have a Patreon and a channel membership where I do bonus content, I do bonus live streams every month, and everyone, regardless of how much you pledge, gets the same perks. So would love to have you over there, but otherwise I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you very soon in my next video. Bye.